Everyone, Rob here with today's Western Pacific weather update. We are continuing to watch the now violent typhoon, at least being classified as a violent typhoon by the Japan Meteorological Agency. In the title, you may notice that is also a super typhoon according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center and Bagasa, so keeping it at a very intense and dangerous level as far as its intensity. As you can see on this microwave imagery, it's continuing to reform up and continuing to get stronger. It actually went through an eye wall replacement cycle, and now it does look like it came out a little bit more stronger. Now, sadly, already several deaths recorded from this storm system, one due to lightning and another one due to a fallen tree on a 5-year-old child. So very sad news coming out of the Philippines right now, and it doesn't look like improving conditions are going to be in the near future. But here, let's take a little bit of a different view at this storm system, just showing the infrared/visible satellite imagery, and you can see that it is still doing a little bit of a wobble here as it moves off towards the north, and I think that's the big thing right now, is that it's moving very slowly off towards the north, and that's what the problem is, because only here on Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday, it does look like it's just going to be just towards the northeast of Luzon, so those rain bands coming in are really going to continue to add up. We've been talking about that for quite some time now, and some reports upwards of 100 millimeters in the past 24 hours occurred here in central Visayas. Also widespread reports of flooding. I do think that all these bands are going to slowly work their way off towards the north as this storm system moves north as well. It really is just going to follow in behind it, and not just that, but some waves upwards of 5 meters high are going to be hitting the coastlines here along the east coast of the Philippines. So that will be making the situation that much more rougher. But right here you can see over the next 72 hours the storm will be continuing to track off there towards the north. This is showing upwards of about 250 millimeters in the next 72 hours. So northeastern Luzon, you're going to be under the gun of this as well. And then going into Taiwan as it continues to track in that northerly progression, at least according to this particular model. But also see that banding coming in all the way from like Cambodia and around Thailand as well. You're seeing some heavy showers. And the west coast of the Philippines are really going to get on this as that storm system continues to track off there through the mid and even to the latter part of this week. But let's take a look at the track from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center to see where they're saying the storm is going to be going first. Now we're going to take a look at JMA and then Bagasa. And one reason I try to look at all the different agencies' advice, a particular one, is just to show you that there are sometimes range and errors. One storm track may be right here, as according to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, yet JMA a little bit farther towards the east, and Bagasa might be a little bit off of that as well. So it's best to look at different agencies, although I always advise checking your local agency wherever the storm is going to be affecting. But right now, this is the track from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Current winds at 130, gusting up to 160 knots, expected to become a 165 knot storm. So absolutely intense and ferocious winds with this storm system. Now, good news is that those winds are here in that inner circle. That's indicating the typhoon strength winds or greater. And as long as you are not a boat venturing out across this area, at least according to this track, you're not going to be experiencing not even tropical storm strength winds, actually. Thus, at this time, it is the heavy rainfall due to those outer rain bands that are going to be the major problem here through the coming days. But let's take a look at Japan Meteorological Agency's track. They also have this storm at 105, gusting up to 150 knot wind gusts. And actually, this storm system is getting rather close to the 900 HPA that Sanba was here last week, and that was the strongest storm of 2012. So this one is right on its heels. Still a very violent and intense typhoon, only the second violent typhoon according to the Japan Meteorological Agency. But this track a little bit farther west than the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. They do take a little bit closer towards Taiwan, but remember their cone of air. Now this just is extrapolated out, but the point is that it could be wavering here through the coming days. Let's take a look at Bagasa, and then we're going to take a look at the model. And they actually expect this storm system to track a little bit farther towards the west. So all three agencies kind of not really in significant agreement here, as the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is a little bit farther there towards the east. And then we have the JMA right in there, getting a little bit closer towards Taiwan. Bagasa actually expects this to veer off, just clipping the northeastern portion of Luzon, running right around the Luzon Strait here in the Bashi Channel. So any shipping traffic going through here through the mid and latter part of this week, well, definitely not the brightest idea to be taking a boat through there at this time, because this is just going to be absolutely rough seas and not very conducive for any sort of shipping traffic out there. Let's see how that affects the economy. But model output is not any more in agreement. We often see this with slow-moving systems and a weak steering environment. Now, one thing they all do agree on is that slow northerly progression staying off the Philippine coast. But then, once it gets here just towards the east of Taiwan, one thing that we can be almost sure of is that the jet stream, or as I found out today, Japan here, the rough translation, what they call the jet stream, is the highway It is going to be running through here, and that should pick up that storm system and basically turn it towards the northeast. That's why you see some of these models starting to veer off there towards the east already, and that is going to cause this storm to eventually run over Okinawa. Now, it's not going to be the super typhoon intensity that we're seeing right now, but still could be packing some typhoon strength gusty winds out of this, and even some heavy rainfall out towards Tokyo could be seen by the early part of next week. Now, that is still very long range. It very well could just stall out here around Taiwan and just continue to linger, eventually weakening before the remnants start to push off there towards the northeast. So you might not be seeing typhoon strength winds at all across western Japan, but still very likely could occur, as according to this particular model, the no-gaps model, which going through the long range actually expects this to continue to track slowly off there towards the north, kind of like what the agencies are saying. And then it stalls out here going into the weekend, and then on Sunday, it hits that highway, as we just said, and starts to pull off there towards the east and northeast, getting stretched out due to those upper-level winds. Really, the high vertical wind shear across this area is definitely going to be increasing, so it going extratropical is very likely going to be the case. But this is here on Sunday, going into Monday morning, possibly affecting western Japan. But once again, that is a long range. That is nearly a week away. Typically, once you get beyond 5 days, models kind of got to go out the window. So just due to the lack of steering flow, I can't really be confident in saying that this track will occur, although it does seem like the more likely scenario. But it very well could just stall out around Taiwan and bring some heavy rainfall and definitely very flooding conditions. So at least right at this time, we can be confident that the first part of this analysis is going to occur just due to the overall steering at this time. Slowly moving off there towards the north throughout the remainder of the week. Heavy rain showers across the Philippines, flooding conditions. Definitely high wave near the coastlines. If you plan on venturing out to the ocean to do any fishing or any surfing, please do not do it. 5-meter high waves or more could be occurring, and then it likely will be stalling out right around Taiwan or the southern Japanese islands, bringing all that heavy rainfall and rough waves with it. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them in the comment box below. And at the end of this update, I will just leave you here with this water vapor imagery, or actually total precipitable water vapor. Just basically shows how much moisture is out there in the Western Pacific right now. Thanks for watching, and please stay safe out there.